Hello everyone, welcome to this session of how to make successful PowerPoint slides based on what I have gathered from other sources. My name is Masood and I will be talking to you about making PowerPoint slides and how to avoid the danger of making bad slides. These are basically the covers I will be covering, some a little quicker than the others. Okay, so to begin with, your slide, your PowerPoint should have a cover page. As you can see in this one, the cover page with the title or a subtitle and your name in there. If you like to mention about your position, then that would be under your name. You might say something like assistant professor, marketing manager, or sales representative, and things like that. The second slide should be your outline. As you can see, we have an outline here. This outline is rather long and generally 3 or 4 points for a 10 to 12 minute presentation would be good enough. And so whenever you make that, make sure that you follow the order of the outline for the rest of your presentation. Only place the main points in the outline. Use titles of each slide if you like. Do not write the whole idea. Do not write complete sentences. In fact, in the most part of your PowerPoint, you should not be writing any complete sentences. You should do as least writing as possible and as simple as possible. So you should kiss your PowerPoint. Keep it short and simple. I suggest you write about 2 or 3. You should use about 2 or 3 slides per 1 minute of your presentation. If you follow the instruction of the font size and number of the font size, actually, if you follow the instruction of the font size, everything else will work. For example, here it says include 4 to 5 points per slide. If later on you'll see the font size we said has to be 32. If you follow that, then everything else will work for you. Alright, write in the point form, not complete sentences, and avoid wordiness such as using keywords and phrases. So use 4 to 5 points. This slide has 1, 2, 3, 4 points. That's what we mean. This slide is too wordy and really not going to enhance your PowerPoint, because your PowerPoint is your partner and you need to work with your partner in a way that will make your presentation a complete and cohesive presentation and as much visual as you can provide, because you provide the body language and the voice to the presentation, and your PowerPoint should represent pictures and animations or certain sound to make your presentation more alive. So as far as the slide structure, one of the options is that you can show 1 point at a time. If you wish to do so, you can do it. The advantage is that it will help the audience to concentrate on what you are saying, and it will prevent audience from reading ahead of you if you don't want them to get confused or read ahead of you. Also will help you to keep your presentation focused for yourself. Alright, so generally again, no more than 6 words in a line and no more than 6 lines per slide. So we said 4 points, we said 6 lines, we said 6 words. Again, considering the font size. Sorry. Considering the font size, you will come to that conclusion. Do not use distracting animation or sound effects like this, which is going to make your presentation distracting, annoying, as you kind of probably became annoying right now, and not any enhancement to your presentation. So avoid clapping sounds and sound effects that are going to make your presentation less attractive. So here it is. Use at least 32 point font And by that I mean when you go to your presentation, you look at here, and this should be at least 32. The number you see up here should be at least 32. So keep your presentation at least 32. Use the font size 24 for the subsidiary points, and you could use also bigger fonts for to make emphasis or to get your point across. Use the standard font type such as Time New Romans or Arial, which is easy to read and familiar to most readers and familiar to most computers. So if you bring your file to another place, it's going to be no problem. So you can use different font size or animation to reinforce a point or a word. So here we have different font size. Again, this will be up to you, and we have a lot of empty space, but also is helpful to reader to see what you mean. So you have different size to reinforce, and so that's the things. Capitalization. Do not capitalize everything. If you're not sure, just make everything lowercase. And then the size is too small, the font is too complicated, it's not going to look good. Also the color of your writing should contrast sharply with the background. So you can see in here the color yellow on white is not going to look good. And if we get this and we change the background color to color blue, and we are going to see that everything else will disappear, but the yellow is going to be really looking good. Now therefore the contrasting color between the background and foreground is going to be very helpful. So I suggest you use the same color and same font color in order to make your presentation consistent and easy for the readers to read. So here, for example, you have a blue font on a white background, which is quite effective. You can use the color to reinforce against some sort of logic. For example, if you use a red color, maybe it means there is something that the audience should not do or should pay attention, and red usually means a negative to the word. So this is like stop doing it. Green usually means that's good to do. So you could use some certain logic to enforce a point if you like, but be consistent. So here is what we talk about: the color of the background. And different projectors may not even show a little bit of what you see in here because the resolution of the projectors is different. So use the color that is contrasting. So use a background that is simple, like this one has a simple background and light. Use the same background consistently through your presentation. Do not keep changing your background. So you can see this color this background is quite colorful, but it's going to be difficult to write in this because you have different colors, so your font has to keep changing as you go along. Yeah, so don't do that. And for the graphs, if you want to have so many numbers, make them into a graph like this, which has a logical explanation to it. Here we're talking about the blue balls, red balls, and how much they were produced. Very well. So we have some easy way to look at it. If your graph is too complicated, the colors do not make sense, and the numbers you write is too small, again, the graph is not helpful to you. And so use pictures, definitely use pictures to help your presentation. And so here we're talking about helping your presentation, therefore I have a picture to show help, the word help. It has to be relevant to the topic that you're talking about, and I would avoid any kind of flashy clip arts or pictures that is going to confuse the audience, maybe look funny or fun to have, but maybe distracting. So make sure that your picture does not cover your writing. So use about 1/3 of your presentation slide for a picture and 2/3 for writing, or half and half. If the picture covers your writing, then it kind of defies the purpose of having a picture. It's not actually helping it. It's not a good idea to write on top of a picture also. So do not make a picture or a complicated picture with conflicting background as your background. Do not have more than 2 graphs or pictures per page. So you can see here, this is a quite complex background and is going to make it difficult for the reader to read. So avoid having backgrounds that are complicated. Do not make your pictures on top of your writing. Alright, make sure you proofread your slides. So a spelling, it should be double L, or writing above double. It will often be visible when you are looking at a PowerPoint slide. So you can see here the word spelling already comes out as a problem. You can avoid that. And here the word of, it shows that it should delete the repeated word. So easy to capture that. Grammatical errors that you might have made. So sometimes the Word document catches that. And there are also some programs that you can add that will catch that. And if otherwise, you need to have someone to read it. Since the English might not be your first language, please have someone to read your presentation. And then if it comes to the end of your presentation, you will have a simple slide that will say questions, right? And in that one, you invite your audience to ask you question. If that's what you promised them you will do at the end. If you said to the audience that there will be a Q&A time, then make sure you give them that time. Avoid ending your presentation abruptly. Make sure you have a slide that says conclusions. And so by having that slide, your audience will know that you're coming to a conclusion. So you should have a slide that shows conclusion, and you have some concluding points, 2 or 3 or 4 points that are the main points of your speech. So conclusion should not be too long. Okay, another thing I wanted to tell you is that supposedly you want to start a new presentation, right? First you can take a look at the design and choose the design if already prepared by the slide, by the Microsoft. You can decide which design you want to use. And then once you have chosen that design, you can also take a look. You can go to the view and look at the slide master. Alright, what does the slide master do is that actually you can set the whole font type and size in this slide master. Let's say, for example, you want your titles to have a different color. Let's say I want the title to have a yellow color, for example, and I don't really like the font type. I can change that to the type I like. And here we have said that it should be at least 32, so it is already in the 32, and this should be 28, so this already is set as a 32 and 28. Should you want to make it larger, you can go ahead and also make this 36. What does this do? What does this do is that you will, after you exit here, when you come to this PowerPoint, every time you type, this is going to be always 36. You don't need to copy a paste, and your topic, your title should always be the same font that you chose. So you can use a slide master. Again, the slide master is under view. You go to view and then you choose the slide master, and you can decide on different type. For example, if you want to have separated 2 columns, then also you can go and choose the font type and font size for it. and this will set the whole presentation's font type and font size for you, and this way you don't need to do it again and again when the time comes. So this was a quick rundown of how to make a PowerPoint in English that will help you enhance your presentation. Thank you for your attention. My name is Dr. M, and should you need any help about presentation or making PowerPoints, feel free to write to me. My email address is write to drm@gmail.com. Thank you.